And welcome to Control Alt WoW AprilPvd. Today is Tuesday, August 25th, 2026, and this is episode 877 entitled Third Boss Down. I'm AprilPvd and I'm sharing my retirement experience and how I use VR and video games to live single, sober, and small. This week, the No Man's Sky news is the same. I haven't played, although there hasn't been any update. Someone in one of the Facebook groups for No Man's Sky was looking for other people who play it in VR, and I had to admit that I hadn't played in a while, but I promised him that I would definitely look him up if there was a new expedition or if there were any updates, and I would definitely go back if something updated. This week, I played constantly in Pal World, and it was wonderful. I love the mechanics, and as the title says, I took down the third boss, and it was wonderful. I've multi-boxed with Aprillian and AprilPvd, and sit back and listen to how I prepared for this battle in the week before. There is so much to this game and so many levels and so many steps to take that you can use it to... it's just entertaining and it's challenging and it's my World of Warcraft substitution, and I love it. The thing I like about playing video games is it makes you think, so your brain is getting a workout. I realized that although I had gotten some quartz, and it did allow me to upgrade my base because I had to make a certain sphere machine number 2, which requires circuit boards, which requires quartz. Aprillian was the one. I knew I would be needing more, and Aprillian was the one that had found the first node. But it was in an area that was way out of her league. One of the reasons I was interested in finding some more, of course, was that even though my base had been leveled, I would need much more of these circuit boards. So I had so much success with resource mining with my ore base. That's the base I made where I just put it in a field with a whole bunch of ore, and I've just been going back and feeding them and making sure they were happy by putting in one of those things that gets their sanity up. One of those oasis things. And so I decided to try it with the quartz. At first, Aprillian went back to where she had gotten the original quartz, but she couldn't find it. And I thought that maybe I was, in the wrong spot, but I knew that was it because it was the furthest out that she had gone, and it was in an area that was way out of her league. And just the node that she had originally mined hadn't respawned yet. So I managed to climb up a hill, get a little bit closer to the snow, and I finally found some nodes. And but I was unable to place, or rather Aprillian was unable to place a PAL box. And I realized it was because she wasn't a guild master. And so I went into the settings, brought AprilPvd in, and had Aprillian... I had her made the guild master, but then I just changed the settings so that everybody in my guild, which is only going to be me, can place the boxes. And so that worked out. I had to log in on AprilPvd on the flat screen to give Aprillian the privileged. And that's when dual boxing really comes in handy. So after placing the PAL box, I swapped the 2 characters out because I also wanted a guild box and a few other things that only AprilPvd had the ability to make. And it's nice though, because even though AprilPvd had none of the flight paths in that area, she could still get to the base. So I ended up spending some time building the guild box which she got access to because she was level 41. The guild box allows access to materials from all the boxes where there is one, all the bases where there is one of those boxes. It's kind of like the resource building in Medieval Dynasty. So I can put stuff in that box and it's the same box everywhere. And so I can easily share resources around my bases with this box. It did take some work because it needs 20 polymer, which needs the high quality pal oil. But fortunately, I had someone in the ranch who was dropping them like crazy. And then I needed those civilization things. But again, I've gotten a bunch of those from the expedition. After putting down the beds and doing some more building and putting in the feed box, I created something called an alpha wave generator so that the pets there wouldn't get stressed out. The hardest thing was remembering how many things to carry with me so that I could build it back there since all of my stuff is in my main base. But I figured out something. If I built it in the main base and then destroyed it, all the mats end up back in my inventory. And then I can teleport to the base where I want the building or the item and make it there. So it's a lot easier than going through all my chests and trying to figure out where everything is. And I also captured some new pals. And I made medicine shelves that I'm going to be stocking medicine in to keep those pals happy. Because the resource mining ones, I'm not paying as much attention to as I am with my main base. So this comes in really handy. Wednesday, I logged on to Aprillian. And I got a lot of things done with her. She ran some dungeons. She got a little bit more exploration. You know, the interesting thing about the way I'm playing is that Aprillian can go some places that AprilPvd can't go. And vice versa. So it's kind of like they balance each other out. Now, Aprillian was at level 36 at the beginning of the day, and she got almost to 37, but not quite. She was capturing animals. She was also running an expedition when I remembered, and she was making sure that she was visiting the 3 bases. You know, my main base is where I cook, and then I have to make sure the other 2 bases have food. She also went out to one area that had a lot of burning pets, fire pets, and eggs. So she got a bunch of eggs too. One of my biggest concern is that I need the integrated ingots. And in order to make them, I need a lot of coal. So she went into a couple of dungeons to get coal. I don't know why that's where they have to get them. I really would love to find a place that had coal that we could make a base on top of. She had a lot of good experiences capturing pets, and I'm really enjoying this game. Now, I did something different with my video recording. So if you are watching on the YouTube channel, or even if you look at the screenshots, I now have recording from a different way. The way that I was recording and streaming before was that I was using the casting feature of the Meta Quest to cast what I'm seeing in my headset onto a web page. And then I had my system set up so that it would record that web page along with the video of me with my headset on to show that I'm in VR. But the problem was that a lot of times the quality of that video from my headset just wasn't good. I don't know what the problem was, whether it's the Meta Quest, whether it was my gaming laptop, or a combination of both. But it was very frustrating to be able to see this beautiful video that I'm capturing and then look at it afterwards and see this blurry, crummy screen. Well, it's just been the way that I've been doing it, especially with No Man's Sky. With No Man's Sky, I could not capture the video straight from the computer because it was two little ovals because of the VR portion. Now, the way that I'm playing VR in for PAL World is that I am using a UEVR injector. I'm playing the game that everyone else is playing, but because of the injector coupled with the MetaQuest headset, I'm getting VR. But the game itself is beautiful, and the gaming PC that I'm using can handle the graphics so wonderfully. When I got this gaming PC, it was to handle the VR graphics of No Man's Sky. And for Pal World, it's almost overkill because it's just gorgeous. So again, if you can see the video on the YouTube channel or the screenshots in the show notes at CtrlAltWow.com, you'll see how gorgeous the video is now. And it really makes a big difference, because I'm recording on the gaming PC and streaming on the gaming PC and streaming the beautiful graphics that is in PAL World. I spent the rest of Wednesday with Aprillian running around finishing some submissions, and she got a little bit further in level 36. Of course, I started Thursday with my workout, which is like an hour and 40 minutes to 2 hours of working out in VR. One of the programs I listen to on my iPad, or I watch on my iPad, is Twit. I've been following Leo Laporte for 25 years now, or even longer. Yeah, 25 years, because it probably started in the early 2000s. And he has been informative for me for Apple information, computer information. But lately, he's been on an AI kick, which I'm not an AI person at all. Sarah Connors warned me, so you know how that is. One of the things that he and I also disagree on is VR. He has made negative comments about Apple Vision Pro, which of course I can understand. That was $3,500. If you could afford it, you probably really enjoyed it, but it's nothing like the MetaQuest. And he has often ridiculed people for the fact that you could wear something on your face. And I have been wearing something on my face since 2017, and it has changed my life. You know, it's ironic, funny, sad that something that I do every day for anywhere from 4 to 8 hours a day that brings me enjoyment and makes my life much better is something that he doesn't understand. One of the reasons why I do these videos and I share some of these videos on my Facebook and my Instagram and Threads account is because I want people to know what it's like to be in VR. Of course, now I did spend some time playing Pal World, and I want to give a spoiler shout out because I am going to be showing some of the map. I don't know. I don't know how in Pal World what could be done differently or if it really makes that much of a difference. But I've gotten my base up to level 16, and I've gotten AprilPvd up to level 42. Well, actually, by the end of the day, she got up to 43, which means that she opens up some more things that she can make. One of the things that she can now make is this really nice bow that's really powerful, but the arrows are very expensive. So I spent the day running around my base, making different things. I love the fact that you can assign your pals to do stuff and make stuff. I also am doing a lot of, I'm almost making too much ore on my resource base that has ore. And I'm getting a lot of quartz on my resource base that has quartz. I was moving some of my pals around to make different foods because my main base is making food for my two other bases. But I really had a good time running AprilPvd around. And then one of the things I realized was that I had over 600 dog coins, and it's it's a lot of discovery in Pal World. And one of the things that I realized that you could do with the dog coins is open up your accessory sockets on your inventory so that you can wear multiple necklaces or rings that will enhance your stats. So she went over and she went over to the church and she used some of the dog coins to expand her. She had already done one, and she expanded it to do two, to do another section. And she then invited Aprillian over, and Aprillian got the other 300 coins, and she was able to upgrade hers. And I'm really loving the system. I'm learning about how I can, increase my base better, and I'm making more complicated things, and yeah, I'm having a blast. And I'm loving the new system I have with making using the computer, my gaming computer, to record the video. This game is so beautiful. Good morning. This is AprilPvd in VR on her character that is AprilPvd. So I'm gonna go out just a tiny bit from my base because I want, that's some leather, okay. Because I want to kind of explain a little bit more of what I am doing here. Alright. Okay, this is good. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Let me just make sure the video is fine before I go any further. Make sure I am good. Am I good? A little bit crooked. Where am I crooked? I don't know. Can we not be crooked? Over here. Alright, this is good, I guess. Alright, now we gotta get back to this. Back to this full screen. Okay, here we go. Good morning. This is AprilPvd in VR on my character. This is AprilPvd. She's level 43. And she's got a few cool things. And we are in Pal World. Now, what we're looking at down here is my base. I'm up on this mountain. And I'm in VR, but I have my character in third person. And I like that because I can see my HUD. And this is information that I need. I have my compass points, how many bullets I have, the spheres I have active. I can see which characters I have active, and most of all my health. But I am totally immersed in VR. Look, I can see the ground here as I am standing in my living room. Now, the thing that I like the most about VR is that I can walk in place, I can move. I'm not just looking at a flat screen, and I'm not just sitting down. So I can do a little bit of exercise, and I can move around, and And while I'm doing this, I'm also experiencing the 365 degrees, and I am, let me, totally immersed in this world, and I love it. Okay, so she has a mission to do so many animals. Okay, 94. Okay, so I'm going to let her hatch this one. I've already mentioned that there is so much to this game, and that I have found different things that I want to focus on, and sometimes I get sidetracked. One of the biggest things, I guess, would be to level and fight the big boss. But what I'm trying to do right now is find all of just explore. I like a lot of exploring, getting to the flight paths, and also finding the resources I need. Now, one of the main resources I really, really need is coal. And I decided today to start off with looking for coal. And lo and behold, after flying around on AprilPvd, and like I said before, AprilPvd is going in one direction, Aprillian is in another direction, I managed to find some coal. But here was my dilemma. I needed to start a resource base, and I needed to take down my other resource base. The resource base that I made, my very first one, was for ore, and that was very successful. In fact, I had way more ore than I need at the moment. And so I decided that I was going to dismantle that one and then move to this new base. It became very complicated because one of the things I wanted to do was take all the stuff I had made at the ore base and just move it to the new base. But first of all, it weighs a lot. And second of all, I would have to destroy the ore base first before I could build the base at where the coal was. It took some maneuvering, it took a lot of back and forth, and eventually I did manage to do it, and it was so exciting to do it. It meant that I had to, like I said, destroy the other PAL box, and then fly back. Well, first of all, when I found the coal, I didn't have a flight path near it, so I had to find the flight path near it. And then once I found the flight path near it, I had to make sure I could get back to it. One of the things I have to remind myself to do is to mark the names of the flight paths that I find that are near stuff. And there's a lot of flight paths, and it's very hard. The only good thing about it is that you can travel fairly quickly. It doesn't take there's not a long loading screen. So that part is nice. And so first I had to take apart the old base, and then I had to make sure that I had all the stuff on the new base to at least make the guild chest. Now, if I could do that, that would be 100% of the battle, because then I would have resources in the guild chest that I could use. And I managed to do it. And I went back and forth and back and forth. Thank God I have my Nightwing, because one thing about the Nightwing is that you can ride it even when you're over weight. And so that was really handy. And so now I have a different base that produces coal. And I learned one more thing, is that you can if you make the guild chest the only chest there, it will put the coal or to put the resources into the guild chest. Of course, Saturday was a workout day, and as per normal, in the middle of my workouts, I get ideas. And one of the things that came to me was that I was getting tired of trying to keep my pets fed. And I had read some post on Facebook about someone who just puts a whole bunch of food in the food basket. So that meant I had to figure out a way to make a whole bunch of food, and that wasn't happening on my main base. So I decided that I would create some plantations on my other bases. Now, I have a couple of bases that I use for resources. I have one that has quartz, and then the other one gets coal. So I'll have to go into the dungeons to get coal. So the one that has coal also has a lot of wide open spaces. So I decided to build a bunch of plantations there, and I learned that if I don't make any other chest and just build the guild chest, that they will put the produce that they gather into that chest. So that will work great for my main base to get more vegetables, more lettuce. That's the biggest thing, because I wanted to be able to make salad. And I had a whole bunch of tomatoes. And so I went to that base. I built out the space so that I could put down a bunch of the plantations. And I did a sort, and I gathered the main planters, growers, and or waterers, and put it on the base. And now I've been running back and forth to make sure that's working out. This has been working out. I just have to keep going back and making them cook. I ran out of wheat, so now I ended up capturing a merchant that sold wheat. And because I've been opening up a lot of chests, I have more gold than I thought I would. And so I have been buying wheat and other materials for food from this merchant that I just keep in my PAL box and pull out when I need to buy stuff from him. I did get into trouble when I captured him inside a dungeon, but if you just wait a little while, the alert will die down. But it works out great because he has a bunch of stuff that I need, and because I had accumulated some money. The only other thing I needed was some carrot seeds, and so I went to try to find the bunny, or as I call it, the Rhode Island bunny, RIBUNNY. And I couldn't remember where I caught some. And then I finally found a place where there were bunnies, but they were dropping berries instead of carrot seeds. And then finally I found a green one, which was dropping carrot seeds. And so I was able to put up a carrot plantation, which is going to open up a bunch of other food that I can make in my main base. It's been an interesting mixture of exploration, dungeons, leveling, and also building stuff on my main base with the help of my pals, and understanding as I level, my technology menu opens up, and then I have more options of what I can purchase. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this game a lot. There's so much to it. The things you can make. Oh, and I opened up glass windows, which just totally changes my architect. So I'm looking forward to that. And now AprilPvd is level 45. So I had two goals, well, one main goal, and that was to beat the third tower. I had gone in multi-boxing and we both died a couple of times. And I realized that I had to get a water-based pet and get it up to speed. So the first thing I did, though, and this was crucial, was that I needed to bring Aprillian in and have her level up. But when she logged in, I noticed that at my third base, the one that was basically my food and coal base, my plants, my farm and my coal, that they were being attacked. And that was because one of the walls had gotten destroyed, and it might have been that I had placed it outside of the PAL box line. And also, one of the planters was gone as well. So I guess if they are attacked, they can actually come in and destroy property inside the base. But once I put the wall up, and I had to bring in AprilPvd, because she has the plans for the walls. I'm kind of dividing them up so that they don't all... There's no reason for both AprilPvd and Aprillian to use the same technology points. And this way they get to use more and get to have more plans. Although there was a couple of times this week where I had to give in and get Aprillian to get the plans for the green spears, because AprilPvd had it and she had been making the spheres and stuff. But it's not that big a deal. It's a couple of points, but all in all, they are managing to split their points. And Aprillian is keeping a lot of the ancient technology points so that she can buy the things that are on the technology thing that AprilPvd doesn't have. So I decided to take Aprillian in to get leveled up. And, there's many ways you can do all the quests. You can complete some of the things that the submissions where they want you to submit a certain pet at the PAL critics. You can explore, because when you open up a flight path, you get a big chunk of XP. And you can go in the dungeons. But one way that I did that was really fast for Aprillian was she went on the oil rig that is just in the front yard. It's just across the way from the main base. And it's kind of fun. At first I was a little nervous because they do come at you really hard, and it's a little overwhelming. But if you watch yourself, they are a little bit lower than we are. But she opening up all the chests. There's lots of chests over there. And that was another thing. I was running out of gold because I need gold to buy wool. I know I could put somebody in the ranch to make wool, which I think I'm going to have to do eventually, because now I'm almost overflowing with milk and honey, which is funny. So Aprillian got on the ship, got on the oil rig, went through it, got some new pets, and that's another way you can level up. You can level up really good if you go in and get, especially when you get 5 of the same pets, and you get those little tokens that you can use to level up your pet. And I also worked on getting some better gear for both of them. I did some Googling, and I found out that somebody said an automatic weapon is the best. So I had AprilPvd learn how to make an automatic weapon, and then she got a water pet to level up because they said water pet was going to be the best one. And I also made a couple of really good suits for both of them. And I had already leveled up Aprillian's pet to 41 and gave it a bunch of really cool features. And I was ready. We had everything. Oh, and I had gotten this one pet that Aprillian had, Palumba, and I went and farmed more pets like it, and then I combined them in the compression machine, and then I leveled it up with some books that I had, and I also made it affectionate. I don't know if you have those peach things that you can give to your pet so that they can trust you, and it increases their ability to protect you. So I was ready, and of course I'm on AprilPvd in VR, and I'm on Aprillian on my laptop, and we get there, and it's an interesting tower because it's in the middle of the desert, and you're getting heat damage, but the armor that I gotten didn't was a it was the highest one with defense and health, but it wasn't heat resistant. I just wanted the extra defense, so I had to quickly go between the two of them and get them inside the instance as fast as possible. And then, of course, my biggest concern is to move Aprillian out of the way, have her release her pet, and he was a beast. And then I actually got the Palorexus, which I could ride. I was always worried about riding a pet in battle. Like my Nightwing, I like to ride her because she gets me places, but I didn't want to ride her while I was fighting, because if she gets killed, then I've lost my transportation. So I was a little bit concerned about riding the Palosaurus, but it was a beast in that fight. It just kept knocking out, and I could use my automatic at the same time. And the pet that I'd gotten for Aprillian was great. I didn't even have to do anything. And what was even better, neither one of us died, and we took down the third boss, which is great because it, along with opening up other quests, it also opens up the third expedition. It's a little bit harder, but you get more stuff that you're going to need later on. So that was fantastic. It was a great way to end my, Tuesday is the end of my week. And I just really felt good. I love, doing these kind of things. I'm always referring back to World of Warcraft because that's what I'm looking for in a game. And this game has just made me feel more like I'm playing in World of Warcraft. I have the quests, I have the side quests, I have the grinding, I have the gearing up, and I did it, and I multi-boxed, and we both took down the third boss, and I'm happy. This is AprilPvd. It's VR is my life, and it's also one of the things that helps me to stay sober and helps me to live small on a small budget. If you want to join me on one of my servers, and that's what I'm gonna, and the server part is just really great in Power World. The fact that you can have your own dedicated server and that I can play with, my pets. I can play with my alts. But I'm also playing with Grand Nagus, and we're having a good time with that. Although this week, we were playing on Tuesday, and we had a really good time playing. And then all of a sudden, somebody else joined, and I realized that I had not read the directions on how to change the or how to put in the password, and I guess somebody just found the server and joined. So we immediately quit because we didn't want anybody coming in and destroying our stuff. And I managed to figure out how to lock it down, but I also backed up the server, copied it over, and I'm very proud about this. I copied it over and I actually put the server on my laptop and was able to join and keep my character. So I did that mainly because the server that we have now is a level, it's $14 a month. And I'm hoping to find a cheaper server, and I'm hoping that I can then transfer all of our stuff over, and then we'll be able to still play without losing all the things we've done so far. But I'm having a blast. I love the flexibility that Power World has, and I really want to thank the UEVR people who have made these mods and made the injector and made it so that I can play Power World in VR. I will be back next week with some more stuff of Power World. I'm trying some other things out, and I'm exploring and enjoying. You can write me at controlaltwow@gmail.com. Our show notes are on controlaltwow.com. And you can see the video if you're listening to this on the podcast. You can see the video on YouTube at youtube.com/controlaltwow. We'll see you next week, and thanks for listening.